Bow bow banger management fantasy hockey podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo for Jakey. Yeah, go see woo. Welcome in everybody to Banger Management, the fantasy hockey podcast with Kevin and Josh. Listen, we talked about it in last week's episode. We said if whoever ended up losing the finals was going to be too sad to appear on the podcast, and Jakey did his best to appear on last episode, but this episode it was just too much. So you got the two champs here.
Oh, that's low. Wow, that hurts.
Yeah, no, Jakey, I love you. It was a close battle until it wasn't, and listen, maybe next year things will be on his side, or probably not. Who knows?
Look, I'm leaving that league to join a banger management league because I'm a one league guy. So next year I'm fully rooting for Jakey and you, but you've already won, so I'm rooting for Jakey.
No, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, because you have to keep your three in a row streak intact. But I will say, if you're not in the league, it'll definitely be easier for me.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you'll be the one who gets to do all the fun trades.
Yeah, I'll have to come on the podcast and tell you like all the fleeces I did or the fleeces I avoided. Do you know how many times I tried to trade Erik Karlsson this year and nobody was biting? They all thought I was trying to fleece them.
You never sent me an offer.
Yeah, because you were trying to give me like I forget who, anyways.
Gostisbehere.
Yeah, Gostisbehere. I'd rather have Erik Karlsson. But then I ended up keeping him for his 5-game week in the playoffs, and that turned out well. Even though he only had one game where he got points, it just happened to be 4 points in that one game.
It's true. It's I thought he was doing crazy well. I mean, he was. But then I went and looked at his game log, and I was like, only one game with points in the last 6. But it was like a 5-point game, so you're like, okay, fine,
4 points.
Point per game, 4 points, we take it, you know.
But crazy. We definitely have to be saved from ourselves in a lot of trades.
Yeah.
It feels like you look back and it's just. I'm like, if
this
would have happened, I would have got wrecked.
Yeah, I'm not just saying this so that whoever's next year in the same league as me of our listeners like wants to make trades with me. This is actually a fact. Like, I take screenshots a lot of time with my trade offers because I'll send them to Kevin or Jakey, whatever, and we'll be like discuss them, in the same. We all do it, right? Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the year, I kind of go through and like clean my camera roll, right? Because I don't like having a bunch of random stuff in it. And I'll look through all the screenshots, and I'm like, this would have cooked my season, like right off the bat, And so, yeah, we've talked about this a lot. But for next year, I'm very curious to see what it'll be like in a new league with people who might be more trigger happy on the trades if it's going to cost me or work.
And I was going to say, like, if anybody from our League of Record is actually listening to this, because I feel like everybody wants to avoid trading with us because they think, like, oh, we're trying to fleece them or whatever. Like, all the trades that didn't happen probably helped us even more than the ones that actually did happen because we didn't actually pull off that many trades. I mean, you pulled off, I think, the most trades this year.
This is the most trades I've ever done in this league.
4 or 5?
Okay, I traded... Okay, let's go through them. I traded for Kucherov. Yeah. I traded for Robertson.
Wait, who did you trade? Do you remember?
Okay, let's see how good my memory is. I traded for Kucherov. I gave Bo Horvat, Wyatt Johnston, and Chris Kreider for Kuch.
When Kreider was averaging like over a point per game for like a month or something.
All 3 of those guys were over a point per game for like over a month. So that was the first one. I traded Svech and Faber for Robertson. I traded Kuch and Gostisbehere for Draisaitl and Tippett.
Yeah.
I traded Robertson, Geeky, and Sider for Matthews, Eriksson Ek, and Barzell. And then I traded Crosby, Eriksson Ek, and Barzell for Pasternak, Lindholm, and Vladar. And then I traded the infamous Matthews and Fabian Zetterlund for Celebrini and Holloway. So that brings us to a total of 6 trades. That's the most trades I think anyone's ever done in this league.
Of that high stakes as well. Like
every single one of them involved like a top 10 pick.
I could never, honestly. Like, I love doing trades, but my trades are like so low stakes compared to. I'm way more risk averse. Like, I'm playing like just some things are just too risky for me, and I'd rather just roll with. I feel like I already build a strong team, so I want to make it better, like incrementally, a little smaller. I don't take as much of the big swings.
I love the big swings. It's too fun.
I mean, I think you were just like one trade too many, maybe. Like, if you took back one trade, maybe it makes
the
better?
only L for me was the Cooch trade, and
Yeah.
even that was only an L because Draisaitl got injured. Like
Yeah.
even though Kucherov was insane, Draisaitl was also insane, and the way it built my team, like it gave me face-off wins. It was and honestly, Tippett turned
Yeah.
up and Gostisbehere was injured, which
Yeah.
is exactly what I banked on when I traded him away.
The real killer
I don't
was
think
the
this was-
Celebrini trade, though. Like if you didn't have Celebrini, Holloway, and you had Matthews and I guess
Yes,
empty
okay. So
roster spot,
the one
that would've
L I
been,
did, yeah, the one L I did was probably acquiring Matthews, but then it immediately became a W because I pawned him off for
Yeah.
Celebrini and Holloway. So
to Jakey, if I have to
yeah.
repeat that.
Yeah, honestly, I wonder if Jakey hadn't made that trade, if he would have won the league over you. I don't know.
mean, it definitely would have given him a better shot, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they didn't
But
have
to
the
be
best
fair, the same
schedules
could-
either.
yeah. But the same could be said with we've talked about this a billion times,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the Draisaitl Kucherov trade. He wouldn't have even been in the finals without that trade.
No.
So it goes both ways. But yeah, no,
It
I have no
does.
regrets about how I did, and honestly, it was all fun.
Yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
this was the year I
yeah.
made the least trades. I only made 2.
you only made 2, yeah.
I only made
But they were
2.
both big wins, I think.
I think they ended up being big wins. Like one of them was a huge
Yeah.
L for a long time. Like Dorofea
They were
was an
slow
empty roster
burns, you
spot
know?
for like 2
Yeah.
months.
Yeah,
Then Brat was awful. Brat, did you see how Brat ended the season?
I saw. Yeah,
Brat
yeah.
ended the season with like 2 points per game, guys.
It's crazy.
I know it came after the
Yeah.
Olympic break, but we were still telling people to hold at that point and how like his potential was
We
so
were
high.
we were so deep in the Brat hole of like
Yeah.
we've been saying it for too long. We can't go back on it
Yeah.
now, and we also truly believed it, right? Like
yeah.
so.
There was no
it's,
reason why it
you
wasn't
know,
supposed to be to be
No.
good.
It was just it was crazy.
He carried me to the playoffs and then helped me win the playoffs. Like Brat got a 4-point game in the finals with a shorty.
And a shorty. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
20 minutes after Jarvis got a shorty against me. So,
I know. Yeah, nuts.
Wild.
Yeah, crazy season. But we should probably get into some questions because we have a lot. I made a post in the Discord asking for the questions, and I told everyone if they don't ask us now, they have to wait until next season because it's our final mailbag episode. So I think people took that to heart, and
we've got
a lot of stuff to cover. Yeah, it's great. I'm very looking forward to it. But we should probably dive in.
Maybe we probably will do a mailbag episode like in the off season or something. But maybe nobody's gonna ask a question ever again because he said it was the last one.
I said the last one until next season, but yeah.
Next off
we'll
season.
see. Yeah, exactly. We'll see what fun stuff we have cooked up in the off season. But this is the last of our official ones. All right, that's a lot of Proface. Did you introduce all the stuff?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I have to introduce all the stuff.
Okay.
But listen, if you guys are listening to this episode, I mean, your finals are probably halfway done. So good luck, and we wish you the best. I know a lot of people won their leagues in week 23, which is super cool to see. If you won your league, please let us know in the fantasy bragging channel in the Discord, because so many people said like, you know, I did this trade because of you guys and like won my season. And honestly, it's so gratifying for us to see that like, you know, some of the advice we gave you guys actually paid off, and not actually paid off like in terms of like we're surprised, but it's just kind of like it's still cool to see, you know?
Yeah. And, because a lot of times, like, you know, like we give the advice and like
we don't see the consequences of it.
That's it. Like even if people come for recurring advice, they don't often say like this is how this one worked out or whatever, you know. But like at the end of the season, it's nice to see all the wins, and so keep it coming.
I did want to shout out specifically, I think it was Waffle Stomper, who he I don't know if you remember earlier throughout the season, but he was pulling off a lot of trades, and then at some point his commish said like, you can't trade anymore, your team is too good. Like they were vetoing his trades, even though they were like super fair on paper and like even slight L's for like better playoff schedules. And he got like really like, you know, I mean that sucks. Imagine you pull off a trade and
ridiculous.
Your league is just
ridiculous.
like, nah, it'll make you too strong. You can't do it.
Yeah.
He ended up winning his league even though they were blocking him from doing trades, just because he made like all the good moves and he had built a great team.
One thing we can guarantee in the banger management leagues is the commishes are really smart, cool guys.
Yeah.
So who are very pro trades. So
yes.
you know, like but no, awesome, congrats, and again, congrats to everyone in the channel who's been letting us know they won, and for everyone who is about to win this week.
Yes. And on that note, make sure you follow us on all the social media. So if you're watching this on Spotify or listening and on Apple and you haven't already hit the follow button, you've been here the whole season and you still haven't, now's the time. I think if you're in your finals or just won your finals, drop us a follow. And from
honestly,
YouTube,
you know what'd be cool?
Like and subscribe.
You know what'd be cool is you know, I love seeing it in the bragging channel, but if anyone wants to take the time to like leave comments, places that like people could see, you know, like public, like on the YouTube video or on Spotify, and be like, I won my championship because these
Yeah.
guys are the best ever, and Josh is super cool.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to leave something like that, you know, like it would be really cool. Because I mean, like then like prospective listeners, right? They would come check it out. They see these
Mhm.
comments, like that's all anyone wants is to win the ship, right? So that's the best endorsement we can get.
I think on Apple you can leave like a written review. So listen, if you're listening to this and you have it in you to, go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review and tell us you won your championship and
Yeah.
how good your season was, like please let us know and maybe we'll read them on the next episode.
Yeah. Like
We're
in between staring at that shiny trophy on your app, you know, like just go off to the next app, give us a little review, and then go back to staring at that trophy. Look at your
yeah.
team, look at all those beautiful faces that got you the win. But yeah, we appreciate it.
Shepherd Commander in the Discord was like, is it just me or like even after the season over, like you're going and looking at your team and just like keep
I've been
scrolling
looking
through and
I've been eliminated for like 2+ weeks, and I've been looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, mostly just like shaking my fist at McDavid and Celebrini. I'm like, why couldn't you do this the 1 week I needed
Yeah.
you? But yeah, no, I definitely do that way too long until pretty much the season ends, until it stops getting tracked on Yahoo.
I've been doing the same. I mean, it's only been a few days for me since the season is over, but I still feel like I'm proud of my guys. You know, it's just like
100%.
always gonna be on the winning squad. Like I'm gonna have a special place in my heart for these guys, and I'll try to draft them
Yeah.
next year. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Josh
All
Norris
right,
3.0.
let's. I think you've learned your lesson after this year.
He's been solid.
All right. Let's get into these questions because there are a lot of them. So here we go. Hudson for Heart on Discord asked, 2 years ago, we started a 10-man, 3 keepers each keeper league. Say we want to expand to 12 people instead of 10. How would you go about this regarding keepers? Would it have to be some sort of expansion style draft? Say everyone has to drop 1 keeper so the new guys can have some decent options to choose from. Essentially, how do you expand a keeper league in a way that's fair for the new people without, ruining it for the existing people?
I've had this happen to me in fantasy football leagues, and as the commish, what I've done, because usually what happens is, we're either adding 2 teams to make it a bigger league, or maybe somebody drops off and is taking over a roster that was given up on or something like that. And what I usually do is like I allow the person to keep. What I've done in the past for football is because your keeper is tied to the draft of where they were drafted. So, like, let's say somebody was drafted in the 10th round, they'd be like a 10th round keeper next year. I was allowing the people in football to be like, okay, like you can pick anybody on any team to be your keeper, um, within reason, like nobody that was like undrafted or whatnot. But it depends how stacked your team is and how much value you would get. For this case, I honestly think I feel like if you're adding 2 teams, if everybody is forced to drop a keeper and then you give the option to the 2 extra teams to pick within that lot, and then maybe you pick a 3rd keeper from people that were not selected, and then have it go that way. Just kind of like give it a little mini fresh start. Because if those 2 teams are going to be at a huge disadvantage if they don't, if you just tell them to pick from whoever's left, type of thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I think expansion style draft makes the most sense. And 3 keepers, you still get, if you have to drop one of them, you still can keep your 2 best ones.
Yeah.
So hopefully that still gives enough to choose from for the 2 new guys, because you don't want to. No one's going to be happy starting off at a disadvantage, right? It's not their fault they're joining later. So yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. All right, so let's go to the next one. Lucio Mancuso39 on Discord asked, I've got a question regarding an abuse of commish power. Essentially, I made my 3rd ad on Sunday at 10:33, and I regretted making it. I felt like jumped the gun, so I dropped him at 10:34. The guy I added was Fowler, and he didn't have a check mark yet, and I didn't want my last ad to be on a goalie who wasn't going to start. I got antsy. Then as commish, I re-added him at 6:35 a.m. Am I in the wrong 5-second rule? I'll be honest, when I started reading this question, I didn't expect the abuse of commish power to be coming from the asker.
Yeah.
Usually it's about like a commish that you're pissed at for doing something. So, Kevin, what do you think as a commish of leagues?
So
where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I mean, I pride myself on being like a very unbiased commission. I'm able to call out when somebody's doing something right or wrong, no matter if it impacts me positively or negatively. I actually spoke to Lucio Mancuso in the Discord, and after hearing more about the story, because my initial reaction was like, listen, like if you're doing something that not everybody else can do, it's already an abuse of power, right? Like you added somebody, like it's your duty as a player in the league to do your due diligence. If you're picking somebody up, like you have to know that.
Yeah, that was my first instinct as well.
Right. Now he gave context, and kind of what happened was, so he picked Fowler up, and then instantly in his group league chat, he said, "I made a mistake. I'm gonna cut him right away," and he did. And also, his opponent that he was facing in the finals had no ads left anyways. So what he did was he added the guy that cut him instantly and said he made a mistake. So like that happens to anybody, right? Imagine you cut McDavid. I'm not gonna be like, all right, sucks to be you. Like,
Yeah.
if you make a mistake and you instantly call it out, like as a commish, I have no hard feelings to reverse whatever happened, right? But he's the commish, so he added the guy, he cut him, and then right before the game started, he ended up adding Fowler once he was confirmed, and just went about his day, right? And then he ended up winning his league by less than a point off a stat correction.
Okay, that's crazy.
Because overnight he had lost, and then after when he woke up, they added an extra shot for McDavid, and the shot was on Spencer Knight, who he also had on his team.
Okay, that's crazy.
So he ended up winning the league. So I guess the other guy complained it was just like, hey, you added Fowler, like you should have been able to add Fowler type of thing. But to me, I think like obviously you can't abuse your commish powers to go over the ads. But you said you made a mistake. You instantly said it, and then the whole day passed. Your opponent technically could have picked him up, but he had no ads left, and then you just re-added the guy that you added. To me, obviously, I think the add and cut is a mistake, but it's not a consequential mistake, so it doesn't impact the sanctity of the matchup, and I think it's fine. So
I think for me, like the way I would go about it, because I mean, this literally happened in our league, right? Jakey, I was playing against him, and he dropped Sean Walker.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, shoot, I meant to drop this other player instead, literally misclicked.
Yeah.
And he was like, then he messaged in our league group chat. He was like, does anyone mind if I, pick him back up and replace it with the drop I meant to do? And, my instinct was like, no, you can't do that, because I was really happy because I thought it was a dumb drop.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a dumb drop.
And Dan Walker got a shorthanded point against me that week and won him like
blocks.
Yeah,
like 6 blocks or something that game.
It was actually like a hugely consequential move. But then I thought about it some more, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. You misclicked. It happens to everyone. You literally called it out the second it happened.
Yeah.
But another thing that I think the step that's missing, and maybe this happened, and I'm not sure of the context, but the step that was important was him messaging in the group chat, being like, "Does anyone have any issue?"
He sent the screenshot, and I saw it.
And no one had any issue in the chat, me included, as his opponent, and so he took it back. I feel like, he said he messaged in the chat and no one said anything. If the guy's only saying something after he lost by a point, then that's his problem, you know? But if the guy said something right away and was like, I don't think that's fair, or if anyone in the league said, I don't think that's fair, I think you got to live with what you did, and that it is what it is. But yeah, so I think that's the key thing, is just ask, because essentially, like, a picture, if you weren't the commissioner and this happened, right? You would have to go and ask the commissioner / ask the league, can you undo this, right? So that's kind of how I would view it, is like, act as if you're not the commissioner, and, if you can get it undone that way, then I think it's fair game.
Yeah, and I think also, like, to the point, like, I'm not justifying the cutting and the re-adding of a player with commish powers, but if the commission said no, we can't undo your move, he would have just been forced to hold Fowler, and then Fowler would have played for his team anyways, and it would have been the same, right? And also the fact that his opponent was already out of ads really doesn't change anything, right? Like, he had one ad left for the week for the game, and he used it on one player technically.
Yeah.
But it's also like he could have picked up, Vladar for whatever reason, and then if he messaged and said, I made a mistake, and then cut him instantly, and then picked up Fowler later that night, nobody would have had an issue either, right? So I feel like it's just because of how the context of the matchup was, it's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Dr. Doof on Discord asked, do you guys prefer 1 week playoff rounds or 2 week playoff rounds?
I mean, as long as the 2 weeks are not the last week of the season where all the shenanigans are happening with people getting benched and whatnot. This is why we avoid week 24 in general.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks is like fun in concept because more sample size means quote unquote better chances for the best team to win. But I think I like 1 week playoff rounds more.
Yeah, I fully agree. I also just think there's not enough time in the season, right? Because if you're going to do 3 rounds of playoffs and you're going to make them 2 weeks each, and I'm never going to play with a week 24. Like, that just, to me, is just a big no-no. So then how early into the season is your playoff starting? It's just not feasible. So also at the end of the day, like, sure, the bigger sample size, better team wins is nice, but, you need to have that element of kind of randomness. Like, that's kind of what makes it, fantasy, like that's what makes it the game.
Anybody can beat anybody, and that's what's
that's it, exactly.
That's what's beautiful about the game as well.
So I think 1 week is my preference as well. All right, Birdo's Pink Sucker on Discord asked, "Who are your all-time alliteration kings, both in hockey and outside of hockey?"
Oh, putting me on the spot right now.
Yeah, wow, that's
Cole Caulfield, especially if he
okay,
hits
yeah.
50 this season, which
Oh my God, he needs
he
to.
hasn't yet.
I know, crazy. Okay, and who's your favorite alliteration king outside of hockey?
Outside of hockey, Peter Parker.
Okay.
all the Marvel guys are alliteration kings. Bruce Banner, Peter
Yeah.
Parker, except Tony Stark
Oh
for some
wow.
reason.
He's just too cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been saying it like wrong all season, so I'll say my boy
Jonas
Johansson.
I knew
Yeah.
it.
I just love that it's
Jonas
like an alliteration.
Okay.
I love that it's an alliteration on like the European J, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just fun. And outside of hockey, man, like I'm like trying to think of like any, for some reason the first name that popped in my head is Ryan Reynolds. I don't know.
Thought of Ryan
It just popped in my head. So, you know, I used to be a big Ryan Reynolds fan. I feel like he got like too big, and then like
it's not cool to like him anymore.
I guess yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just a sheep, but also like I liked him like in his like really early like sitcom days where he was like, you know, his like whole like fast talking like shtick was like kind of like new and stuff, you know.
He had a few banger movies like what was the one with Sandra Bullock? I forget.
Yeah, that was the one where she was like
The
Canadian
Proposal
or something.
No,
yeah,
the proposal. Yeah, it was The Proposal.
Yeah. No, that was great. All right, so there you go.
Alliteration kings. If we ever make like actual merch that we can put out there, maybe we have like, you know, an alliteration kings shirt with like just all the alliteration king names on them. That would be cool. I'd wear that.
Yeah, or
Nobody
it could be like
would,
some sort of like, it could be some sort of like, you dropped this alliteration king, and it's like someone holding up a crown. I don't know.
That too. You dropped your crown, alliteration king.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Gnome on Discord asked, "Who is an underperformer from this season that you're still all in on, and who is an overperformer from this year that you're betting on repeating, assuming no trade/injuries?" So in both cases,
this question.
Yeah, in both cases, it's guys that we're high on for next year, but one is a guy who was an underperformer, but we're still high on, and one is an overperformer. So for me, my first one is clear to me. It's Dylan Holloway. And I know people are going to be like, but he was so good at the end of the season, but like he was pretty brutal for the majority of the season. But I stand by it, and I'm still.
So you're saying he's an
underperformer
that you'd be high on next year?
That's it, exactly. So he's an underperformer from this year, and he was one of my signature picks. And like I felt bad about how it played out for the start of the season. End of the season, I feel like, you know, I was vindicated, but like, you know, at the end of the day, you need the guy to show up for the full season. So didn't work out as well as I'd hoped, but I'm still very happy to have him on my team next year. So that's my underperformer. Who's an overperformer who I think who I'm betting on repeating. I guess like a kind of way to look at that is kind of maybe someone who broke out that I think is for real.
Darren Raddysh. If he signs with Tampa, I feel like I'm all in.
Okay, I love that. I mean that's gonna be a question coming up actually, but I love that one. I love that a lot. I'm trying to think who's an overperformer that I'm like that I really believe in for next year.
Nick Suzuki.
I think Suzuki's he's a second round pick in my opinion, which is pretty sick.
I mean, do you consider him to overperform? I feel like he went from 1.1 points per game to 1.25 points per game. I mean, that's a pretty elite level.
That's pretty. I mean, he's like top 10 in the league in points. Like he's no joke. I mean, I'm just not a fan of like he doesn't shoot that much, you know. But
in our league of records, he's ranked 5th on the season.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I was actually thinking Caulfield. Or honestly, like the whole Habs team, and obviously we're super biased, but all those top guys. Yeah, you know what? I'll say Lane Hutson. I think he's like the real deal, and I think I kind of set him aside because I wanted to ignore my Habs bias, and because he's not like the biggest like cat stuffer, but the points he's been doing is just unreal. I think that's a fantastic answer. Yeah.
My underperformer that I'm still in on next year. I mean, I'm not just saying this because he's on my team, but I feel Jesper Bratt. I feel like
yeah, for sure.
Brad this season, he literally.
I thought you were gonna say Will Cooley.
Nah, I mean, Will Cooley did exactly what I thought he was gonna do.
Yeah.
I think he was like 0.8 points per game or less for most of the season. It balanced out at the end of the year with how much he was on fire, but for a large part, he was like a bust pick, right? But next year, I'm gonna be all in with New Jersey.
Yeah.
They started the season as a contender, and then it just kind of fell off the rails completely.
Absolutely.
I think next year they'll be back at it. Maybe this is just Rangers 2.0 from what we did this last year, but I feel like it's different.
Yeah. Well, I feel like first of all, the firing of the GM I think is going to be a shift. We'll see what moves are done in the offseason. I think Brad's going to drop in some drafts. I think people are going to be, especially people who owned
Yeah.
him over the course of the season, they're going to be like have the bad, sour taste in their mouth from like how he played for them, especially if they didn't make it to the playoffs because of it and they didn't get to enjoy his last couple of weeks. And I'm going to be all over that. Unfortunately, the only league I'm going to be in, Kevin's also going to be in, so it's going to be hard to get him later than I think is valuable. But I think that's a great pick.
Who's a underperformer that you're out on next year? Like you're not betting on the bounce back. Like he fell off, and I think it's done. To me, like the first name that came to mind was like Hedman.
Jordan Kyrou.
Kyrou.
I feel like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in on Kyrou. Hedman is is a massive one though. That's definitely the biggest name for me. I think
Elias
who else?
Pettersson.
Pedersen, I agree. Yeah, I'm not in on him anymore. This year, I was tempted to draft him like a couple of rounds late and
It's 2 bad years in a
hope
row
for the bounce back. Yeah, but no, I'm not a believer in him. Who else
Uyghur.
had?
I think Uyghur for me. I'm probably not touching Uyghur next year. At his price, I think he's still going to go higher than he's expected.
I would grab him late as a bangers defenseman because I still think his bangers are elite, but I don't think you're going to see much points from him, and he's definitely not going to be power play one over Sergachev.
Hellebuck.
I mean, 0G. I can tell you, who's a piece of, Darcy Kemper. That man will never be on my roster again.
when you can just win the league with like a Dan Vladar and Jet Greaves,
Literally. No,
yeah.
I can't wait. The worst part about drafting goalies is that when those fun, like good goalies pop up on waivers, you don't want to drop anyone for them, and so you miss out. And then you end up sitting there with your garbage goalie watching this free agent pickup outperform them all season. So when you don't have any goalies, you can just pick up whoever you want and enjoy the ride. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So yes, all goalies. All right, let's go to the next one. Waffle Stomper on Discord asked, are there any players you guys can think of from this season that changed your minds about them in either a positive or negative fashion? Like any players you'll be more inclined to draft next season and players you're inclined to avoid based on their performances this season? Someone who changed our minds. So not the same as the last question, a little different. Like guys who maybe we had a strong opinion on, like maybe how you hated Jason Robertson and maybe, now you're, a bigger fan. Who knows? Something like that.
Jason Robertson is an answer for me because I was like, he was my ice pick this year because everybody was hoping for like that 100-point season again, and I was just like, I don't think the odds are high that he gets there, right? Like I was the Jason Robertson hater in the offseason, and that was clearly a huge L for me. Like that's probably my worst take this year. I had no shares of Jason Robertson all season, and he had an amazing year. Next year, I don't think I'm super high on him. Like again, like I don't think he repeats what he did this year, but he's definitely not off my board. Like I'm definitely I consider him a great talent. It'll just be about price and who I like around that draft. But he's somebody that really changed my tune on. And Mark Stone.
Yeah.
I think Mark Stone was another one for me where I feel like this season I became the biggest Mark Stone fan because
it's crazy.
Everybody hated him. Everybody hated him. He was injured, blah, blah. He's one-dimensional. But what he was producing on the ice is just insane. I felt like I had to defend him all the time.
Yeah. No, that's super fair. I'm like completely blanking right now on who like my opinion has changed on a lot.
Kemper?
I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously all goalies is its own thing.
Cutter
like,
Gauthier? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these young guys that like normally I don't take a shot on, but I just feel like a lot of these young guys, especially on like these younger teams where they're given more opportunity, they're popping off like earlier in their careers than I expect them to.
Yeah.
So I think I have to give more respect to rookies / like sophomore like guys like into their second year because I just think the pop off is happening sooner, and I think my old strategy of kind of like avoiding the young guys and going for the more proven guys, like you're just missing out on too much value. I think like that's why I didn't end up with like a Celebrini or a Bedard or anything like that this year, at least out of the draft because I kind of like let other people take the shot at that. But sometimes you take the shot and you get a Celebrini round 3, Bedard round 4, stuff like that.
That's an extra first round pick for your draft.
That's exactly it. So I'd say maybe rookies in general, but yeah, Cutter Gauthier I didn't believe in because I just didn't see it like happening this fast.
What about Erik Karlsson? Are you in next year?
I'm actually still not in.
I'm in next year.
For me, it's like he's kind of like in Ovi territory where I'm just like
you don't want to be on the cliff,
and I don't want to be on the cliff, and that's it. And honestly, every year until this year, Ovi proved me wrong. Right, like he was an unbelievable pick. Like every year, and every year I stayed away since I've been doing fantasy. Like because I was always like, is this the year? Is this the cliff? That's kind of where Karlsson is at for me. I'm not happy, but I'm very fine with missing out on another great season from him, because the risk I think is too high, especially because after this season, there's no way he gets drafted as late as he did this past season.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to pay actual value for him.
I mean, I got him in the 16th this round. He probably goes around like
Yeah.
9 or 10 next year is my guess.
Yeah, that's solid.
What about dang, I'm blanking. I had the name right in front of me. Slav. I feel like
Yes.
I feel like you were anti-Habs and just like we don't know what we're gonna get.
Yeah, for me, Habs in general. That's a really good point. Habs in general, I had on my do not draft for years because the years of them disappointing me, and I was just like, I don't want to be disappointed in fantasy and in real life. And also, they just have never had offense in my entire life, right?
Yeah.
But now I believe and like this is not as a Habs fan, this is as I be as objective as possible with them in terms of fantasy because I know how I could. That's it. There's top 6, top 5 power play.
They're
in
gonna
the
have
league.
good fantasy assets.
They've got unbelievable assets. Like I'm very much willing to draft Habs, and honestly, like I probably want to. Like I'm not going to overpay for them because I'm a Habs fan. But if it works out that way, like if it falls to me, I'll be very excited to have some strong Habs on my team because it's just double the fun.
Last name.
So yeah, Habs and rookie.
Heiskanen.
Yeah.
Change your opinion on him?
I think I'm still avoiding.
Yeah.
And that could be a hot take after the year he's had. I still think Harley's just waiting in the wings for like the smallest slip up, like if they start off the season cold, like that happens to every team, right? Like any team can have a cold stretch, and if that stretch happens to be the start of the season, and if the reason they're cold it happens to be their power play, Harley's going to get the shot and Harley takes it. That it could happen. Essentially, there's a lot of guys who it wouldn't happen to. Oh, I just got a name of it, but yeah. Anyways, Heiskanen, I'm still avoiding him. A name of a guy who I was very high on and who I am not necessarily avoiding, but I'm not going to pay the price for him next year is Mo Seider. Yeah. I'm actually much lower on him. Going into the season, I was very high on him. I was very excited I drafted him in the 3rd round. I thought I got him at a steal. He was my top pick to get that round, and I just think that. There's a chance.
He was a solid. He had a solid season.
He was solid
when you look at it. Like 0.7 points per game. Last year he was at 0.55 or 0.5 point per game.
Yeah.
No, 0.55. Like, I was right.
He took a step up for sure, but I just think that for where he goes, I don't want to draft a guy at that spot who I think Axel Sandin is gonna get power play 1 at some point. That's at the very least the entire season. I felt like that was a possibility. I also felt like it was a possibility Detroit would trade for a power play 1 defenseman. Like I'm not interested in
Hamilton in the offseason. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not interested in drafting a guy where he's going to get drafted with the assumption he's power play 1 and then he has the risk the entire season of not being power play 1. Yeah. So that's one that I changed my tune on.
Fair. Good point.
All right, let's go to the next one. Mamba Forever on Discord asked, which stud player this year do you think is going to have a drop off next year? Okay, we got a lot of these kind of questions, but
one answer.
I feel like they're all kind of different, because they're all like the same idea, but like I feel like they'll have a little of a different spin on them. So who was sick this year? Who's gonna? I mean, look, I'll say it. Maybe it's
I'm scared
it's
of
the opposite of what you say. Really?
I'm just like second year.
I was gonna say Darren Raddysh.
I mean, Darren Raddysh is too obvious. It's like,
okay, fine.
For me, Darren Raddysh, if he resigns with Tampa, I'm in. If he goes anywhere else, I'm out. Like, I'm not touching.
I fully agree. Because if he resigns with Tampa, I mean, I keep saying that one of the questions coming up in like a second is a Darren Raddysh question. So we'll get into that. Okay, you said Celebrini. That's kind of crazy.
No, I'm just scared. I'm not out on, but I'm
Celebrini's gonna go in the 1st round. Are you avoiding him there?
It depends where I'm drafting. Like, would I take Pasta over Celebrini? Yeah. Would I take Matthews over Celebrini? I don't know. It's close, Like Matthews has got his own baggage of questions.
I'm taking Celebrini over Matthews for sure.
Yeah, but it's tough. Like Kaprizov or Celebrini? Like, give me Kaprizov, who I know is going to do
Kaprizov.
it. Like,
yeah, I'm taking Cap there. Yeah,
Makar over Celebrini.
That's
what you're getting with Makar, right? Celebrini, I feel like it's
Makar
one
had
more
a
year
disappointing
sample
season.
size.
That's fair. Makar had a disappointing season though.
Yeah. It can happen to anybody.
And the power play, yeah. Anyways, I think that's a fair one to say.
Yeah.
And then
Malkin for me, not next year. He might not even play.
Yeah, you had asked about Crosby.
Yeah.
And that's really tough. I think that this year I took Crosby and he was amazing as usual, honestly. And normally I avoid guys of like his age because of that cliff, right? I'm not necessarily worried about the cliff. I think he's definitely going to just keep being point per game. But I just think the way I'm planning on building my team already ahead of time, like I don't think I'm going to go face-off wins again. I think every year that I've won, the 3 years I won in a row, I had one strategy. And then the last 2 years, I decided to try something new. Not the same new thing, just a new different thing each year.
Do different things.
And it didn't work out. So I think I'm just going to go back to my roots, and face-off wins was never part of my my original strategy. So.
I won the league and I won face-off wins in the finals. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But you also did not go for face-off wins this year.
Yeah,
So it's just your opponent went for it even less than you did.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I guess those are all good names. I think Malkin's too easy of one because he might not.
Yeah, I know.
Next year.
I'm looking quick, but like.
I'm assuming Mark Stone you don't think is going to drop off next year.
I don't think Mark Stone's falling off next year.
I think he's going to get drafted too high next
Philip
year.
Forsberg maybe.
Really?
That might be a name. I mean, depends how this offseason of Nashville has. Like, at some point, if there's no more Ryan O'Reilly or...
Oh, Steven Stamkos?
Yeah, Stamkos.
I'm not buying into Stamkos' 40-goal season out of nowhere.
No.
Yeah, no. All right, let's go to the next one. Kara H on Discord asked, advice on how not to ruin my marriage while playing the Hubs in an 11-day championship game.
She said this was a joke, by the way, so just putting it out there. But Kara, if you're listening to this, I hope you're winning your matchup.
Yeah. Step 1 is win, and step 2, is gloat. And that's, look, is it going to help your marriage? Probably not. But anytime I play games with my wife, the gloating is the best part.
I was gonna say, like, you can gloat, but you gotta be respectful about it. You gotta be like, yeah, like, listen, like, you did it, you played really well, like, could have gone either way, but like, obviously the best team won, and that's it.
Exactly. If only you were in the Banger Management Discord too, you would have had a chance. But
Kara said she tried to get her husband into the Discord community, but it was like too much with football going on and everything like that. So maybe next year after she beats him in the finals, he'll be like, all right, I gotta be part of the community.
That's how what everyone should do. When you beat everyone, you be like, and they're like, how did you do so well this year? And you're like, well, you know what? I'll tell you my secret now that I have the championship under my belt. Yep. And yeah. All right. Kara's real question. What will your schedule look like during this off season?
So I mean, listen, this is coming out on Thursday or Friday, probably one of those 2 days. And this will likely be
this is our last of our regular content. For
of our
season.
regular scheduled programming. This will be the last episode. So I think after that, we're going to take like a week or 2 break, just kind of like mentally reset a little bit and take a step back and be able to like enjoy our real lives again, just for a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And then I think in the off season, we're going to be trying to get out like at least 1 or 2 episodes every week and stay consistent with that. We might not have all 3 of us on at the same time because I know in the off season, like, Jakey has a lot of like commitments with work, and Josh is literally raising a baby, and I got nothing going on. But
no, you got a big triathlon coming up, so don't sell yourself short.
Training for a triathlon in September, so everybody support. But no, you can expect 1 to 2 episodes a week. I think in the off season we'll do some like recap content on like how did the season went, like how everything finished.
Yeah,
we'll do a lot of like fun content, like ranking our favorite chocolate bars or food bars or food
Reese's
stuff.
is number 1 for sure.
But Reese's
wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's how kind of I see it in kind of like blocks, right? So it's like, okay, this is the last of the regular scheduled programming.
Yeah.
Then we have a little break. Then we're gonna do, I think, a weekly episode just following the NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
Just it's pretty much just gonna be us talking about the playoffs. So not necessarily, fantasy will always come up. We'll be like, oh, maybe this means something for next year. But for the most part, it's just gonna be us talking about what's going on in the playoffs. We'll keep that going until the playoffs end. Then maybe another short break, and then I think it's gonna be starting off with maybe some more like just like fun content, like you said, like non-hockey related. And for this, I think we might actually start a channel in the Discord where we ask for suggestions of what to talk about because you guys all have great ideas, and we could pretty much talk about anything.
We learned that people actually want to listen to us talk about non-hockey stuff. Like, apparently our personalities are just so fun and nice and dandy that people are actually interested in us besides our fantasy advice. So that was
exactly.
nice to hear.
Yeah, it was, and you know what? If that helps expand us even more, all the better. But yeah, so I think we'll be shooting out messages to try and get suggestions, whatever. So we'll definitely have those fun ones going on. In June, I'm gonna be in Montreal. We're gonna have our beer bets episode.
Ooh, yeah!
So that's gonna be a fun one. I feel like we petered off on the beer bets the second half of the season.
Nobody wants to bet anymore.
Next year we'll have to be better about just
we have to have quotas.
Yeah, honestly, we should have like 1 beer bet per week or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think that's like a
24
solid.
weeks.
That's a lot of beers. Okay, wait, 24 weeks.
No, but we could buy a case
all
of 24 beers.
Yeah,
so
that's
then,
easily doable. Okay, I think that's our rule for next year. 1 beer bet per week,
I would
and not
love
each
that.
person has to be involved in the beer bet per week. But it'll even out.
But as
Okay,
usual,
so
Jakey will lose all his
year.
bets.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, let me go check on Protus versus Dorofei. That was what we're talking about that.
Yeah, can you combine the points with the Ilya Protus?
Would that help?
Probably same amount of power play points. But yeah, so I'd say we'll have the beer bets episode, and then we'll have some recap content as well sprinkled in there, and then I think it's going to be around like mid to late August when we start doing our preseason content going into next season. That's when we started this past year, I'm pretty sure. So
maybe a little before that, maybe like end of mid July or something.
Yeah, we'll see. Like we'll see
August.
what we did last year. I feel like we had a good thing going, but something like that. So it's gonna be hockey until the hockey ends, then some fun stuff that's non-hockey, and then prepping for next year. I think that's kind of the vibe. And like Kevin said, 1 to 2 episodes a week, and it'll be a mixed match of hopefully all 3 of us can be here for as many of them as possible. But we'll have to see what our schedules hold.
I just want to say Dorofeyev and Protus combined for 30 power play points this season.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And
the goats.
Yeah. Together they're a machine. Protus just got 1 power play point, but
damn,
Dorofeyev couldn't hit 30 without him. So
I guess Jakey was right to not bet that Protus would get another power play point.
Yeah, that's true. He would have had to drink 1 extra beer.
Yeah, crazy. All right, let's go to the next one. Jordari on Discord asked, "Who's the one player you wish you had drafted this year for in the following rounds?" Okay, so first let's go rounds 1 to 5. Who do we wish we had drafted?
That I didn't draft?
That you didn't draft, yeah. I feel like I know that Celebrini obviously got taken round 3. That's got to be one of the biggest names.
Yeah.
Bedard got taken, I think, round 4. But he got injured, so...
Yeah, Bedard was round 4. I mean, to me,
it's gotta
like...
be Celebrini for me.
Yeah, Celebrini round 3 for sure. Or maybe like Werenski round 3 as well. Werenski was a beast.
Yeah.
Bedard too, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the names that jumped up to my head. Rounds 6 to 12. Who do I wish I had drafted? I have to pull up
Cole Caulfield.
When did he get drafted? 6?
He was
7, right?
He was round 6. He was the 3rd pick of the 6th round.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Not Will Cooley. Honestly, I was pretty happy with what Will Cooley was giving me the whole season.
It worked out in the end.
It did work out.
When you win, it doesn't matter like the individual picks. It's just like everyone contributed. Especially he showed up when it counts.
Somebody drafted Michkov in the 6th round in our league.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's nuts to look back on. Okay, let me pull up this draft real quick. And
I wish I had Dylan Cousins, and I did. That was probably one of my best
like
picks
round
this
12
year.
though. I want to see I want to see who the latest.
Matthew Tkachuk in the 9th round. Probably wish I took him. Actually, I don't know if I wish I took him.
Actually, I mean, I took. No, he got taken before me, but I got Bo Horvat in the 9th round. That was a pretty pretty sick pick.
But who'd you wish you drafted?
Who do I wish I drafted? I'm trying to find the latest sick pick from that kind of area. I
wish I drafted Nick Schmaltz.
Yeah, honestly, he was sick. Ryan O'Reilly, low key.
Yeah,
he got drafted round 10, which is honestly pretty early for him. But
how did Mark Stone get drafted in the 11th round?
Did he actually
in our league? That's nuts.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay. No,
I wish I drafted Mark Stone.
Yeah,
but the thing is, I would have had to give up Ricard Raquel or Josh Norris, and I couldn't give up either of them.
I would have had to give up Evander Kane. So,
taken
one pick before Mark Stone.
That's Josh. That would be the
that
worst.
was my biggest miss.
The worst back to back.
I really thought because he was practicing on Power Play 1.
I know.
Right before the season started, and I thought that I mean, we didn't know how bad they would be going into the season.
I know.
We knew they'd be bad, but usually there's some talent. But yeah, no, that's brutal. Okay, rounds 12 plus. I mean, I got to shout out my Morgan Geeky pick.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Round 13. Obviously, he dropped off a lot, but I sold high on him way before that happened. So.
In round 14, I wish I drafted Leo Carlsson instead of Alexander Romanov.
Oh, yeah. Leo Carlsson, round 14. That's huge. Pavel Dorofeyev, round 14.
Yeah, still ended up
that
with
was
him.
A great one. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Patrick Kane, I got him round 15. Was pretty great pick.
I wish I drafted Matthew Olivier. Nah. Yeah, Cutter Gauthier would have been a great pick. At that point, you got to take the young guys, right? That's what That's what it's telling me.
Honestly, yeah.
I drafted Morgan Geeky 2 picks before Cutter Gauthier.
Oh, in a different league? That's crazy.
No, not Morgan Geeky. Sorry, Morgan Riley. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's brutal. Obviously Eric Carlson around
Yeah.
16 ended up being a sick pick.
Yep.
I mean, other than that, I feel like
Probably should have drafted Spencer Knight or Jet Greaves instead of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
yeah, but I mean,
I was just
honestly,
too early.
Like,
UPL was
if you
great.
didn't get all those injuries, you could have just held him on IR and it
Yeah.
would have worked out.
It would have.
I'll shout out my own pick of Shane Gostisbehere in round 19. I feel like that's a pretty
Yeah,
sick
that
one.
was phenomenal. I wish I drafted Trevor Zegras instead of Ville Koivunen, who I thought was gonna pop off because he was practicing
Oh my
on PP1.
god, I forgot about the Ville Koivunen. Oh my god, you guys don't understand the entire like first 2 weeks of the season. Kevin's going on
I
like,
think it was like a
I
week
can't
and a
believe you guys
half.
let me. I can't believe you guys let me get Koivunen. Like you guys are cooked. Like the biggest mistake in the draft ever. You know, like and I was like, dude, you're gonna drop him in a week, and he's like, no way. And he dropped him like half a week later.
Yep. Jimmy Snuggerud too. He was around 20 pick in our league.
He finished the season strong, but he wasn't great.
No, he wasn't.
Like for a lot of the season. So, all right. Jordanian Discord also asked, "What's your cure for fantasy hockey withdrawals over the summer?"
My cure is very easy. It's other fantasy sports. Now that hockey's over, I can give all my attention to fantasy soccer, FPL, or fantasy F1, or fantasy baseball. Now that I'm in the Banger League with all of you guys, so that's how I spend my time until hockey season comes back.
For me, it's like the opposite. Like I feel like fantasy season ends and I get my life back. You know, I'm like, oh, I like the amount of time I spent thinking, looking, like doing fantasy is just I freed up all of a sudden. I usually like every summer, I end up going through I think like 20 books. Like I just start like reading a ton. I play like a ton of like hockey and stuff. Although like that is regular anyways. Yeah, just all my other hobbies that usually take a back seat to fantasy. I just power through over the course of the summer. And yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to it. If anyone has any book recommendations, shoot them to me in the Discord.
Hey,
but yeah.
I mean, listen, before the movie came out, I read Project Hail Mary, and that was pretty sick. I don't know if you read.
Yeah.
Have you read it or saw the movie?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard of any of it?
Yeah, I've seen the trailers from the movie.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Ryan
the
Gosling's
book is
in everything these days.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. He could do everything.
Yeah,
he's like the other version of Meryl Streep, but I will say also I just got I don't know if you've ever heard of Brandon Sanderson.
You're joking. I'm obsessed with Brandon Sanderson.
I bought
you
the Mistborn series, the first trilogy.
I'm the one who told you to get it.
Well, I have one of my best friends is also like a huge Brandon Sanderson fan, so he's been like telling me to read this for a long time. Dude, I've read the
entire. Do you realize that like the Mistborn series is like part of his like greater Cosmere and like it's all connected. Anyways, it's sick. You'll have to tell me what you think because I am so into it.
I finished Project Hail Mary and like I do not read nonfiction. I do not read fiction. Like I've only read nonfiction in the past.
That's crazy.
So I was like, let me just start it. I went on vacation like earlier this year, and then I read Project Hail Mary, and I was like, this was so fun. Maybe I should read more fiction. And then I got sold on fantasy, and I was like, okay, Brandon Sanderson, like I'm all in. Let's see what it's all about. So I bought the trilogy. It was on special. I was like, okay. Now I just started the first book. I'm like a few pages in. So
okay, I won't spoil anything, but it's
I'm excited.
Sick. Honestly, like the amount of works. Like I'm so jealous you get to go through it all for the first time again.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they make movies out of it in.
They are. He already signed. I don't know if it's movies or a TV show
or something.
But he already signed like the rights or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
But he made sure to get like major creative input into it. Yeah. So I don't know. That's coming out in the next couple of years probably. But I'm very excited to see it adapted. Yeah, you do exactly. Plus, he still has like his main series, like the Stormlight Archive. Yeah. It's going to be a 10-book series. Only 5 books have come out. That's and insane. It's like Era 1 is 5 and then Era 2 is 5 more. But like the 6th book's not coming out for another like 4 or 5 years. It's crazy. Wait. But to be fair, he's not like the type of author who like just leaves you hanging. Okay. In the meantime, he's going to release like 50 books. Like he writes at a ridiculous pace. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wait, he like puts one series on pause and then writes a different series? And publishes
Yeah, because like
those?
they're all kind of connected. So like he writes like there's a bunch of like different series, but they're all like part of the same universe, and it's nuts. It's really
Okay,
sick.
I do
You're
not know what I
like
got myself into, but I'm
get
excited.
if you read the series and you get into it, then I'll give you the reading order that you should read them
Okay,
all in.
perfect.
All right, let's move on. Paul L on Discord asked, if I'm eliminated in a keeper league, should my roster be locked to prevent me from adding / dropping players? It makes sense to not affect the finals matchup, but I also may want to grab guys as keepers for next year. Parameters could be put in place where I couldn't take action until Saturday, for example, so anyone I drop would not clear waivers until the season is over. Essentially, what is your opinion on locking teams once they're eliminated? Obviously, the keeper aspect puts a spin on it, because if it's not a keeper, I think absolutely just lock the teams. There's no reason for them to be making moves. Keepers, it's like, it's fair, you know, like if there's a guy you genuinely think, like let's say like you want to pick up Porter Martone, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh, this guy like popped out of nowhere and I kind of want to grab him. I feel like that's kind of fair. So it's I think it's a great question. What do you think?
I mean, as a fellow commish, this is a very black and white decision for me. If you have literally anything to play for, anything to gain or avoid, you should be allowed to make moves. And it's just like rules of what everybody's getting themselves into is the same thing. Like if there's a punishment for last place, like imagine not being able to make pickups to avoid that punishment.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
that. Oh, you're affecting the finals. It's like I understand, and I think if anything, like your league should have rules to, maybe protect that. But I think in general, as long as you have something that you're playing for, whether it's potential keeper options or better seating for draft picks or to avoid penalties or whatever like that, like there should be no rules preventing you from making any moves, and I would not be upset. So
I fully agree. I think that's the clear answer. If you have something to play for, you can make moves. If not, then lock the roster.
Yep.
All right. CHXMP on Discord asked. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it's, I guess it's just Champ with an X. Hey, first off, just want to say that I just won my league. I want to thank y'all for the great advice and content throughout the season. Wasn't a question, but it was nice, so I included it.
I like it.
My question is, how much do you value your league being competitive versus winning / money? For example, I just won my 9-team league where a lot of managers were inactive for parts of the season. On the one hand, it made the playing experience a bit boring. However, I got the W and made some cash. So, I mean...
Ooh.
It's both are great, right? You know, get into some of those easy leagues to fund your real leagues.
Yeah.
No, I mean realistically, like I love to win, but it's about the competition, about like the good play. Like, you know, we talk about our league a lot, and I feel like over the last couple of years it has gotten a lot more competitive. And look, I think it was competitive to begin with, so I still prefer the days when I was winning every year. but I definitely, in like this scenario you're the champ is describing, I wouldn't really want to be a part of a league like a 9-man league where everyone's inactive. Like, is it really that impressive to win when like no one's doing anything? Like, it kind of just feels like getting free money, which is great, but that's not that's not fantasy. You know, it's like it's just free money.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, I feel like I have an unpopular opinion, but like I just won a league of record and it was a decent amount of money, but like I could not care at all about the money that I won. To me, it was just like the high stakes of like competing against somebody that's also trying to win.
Yeah.
And then like just winning in a competition like that is thrilling to me. And I'd put just as much energy and effort and passion into it, whether it was for $0 or like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So that's just.
But the
me.
winning is the best part.
The winning is the best part, right? Like I'm not gonna say no to a cash prize at the end, but like I know there's some people that I play in fantasy leagues with that for them like they won't be invested at all if there's no money into it, which is the complete opposite of how I play fantasy, right? Like if I play against people that don't care about it, I'm not gonna like I'll still care, but I'm not gonna care as much. But if I know you care a lot, then I'm gonna care a lot too, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, like the only reason that I play in leagues with like the dollar amount or whatever is just to make sure that other people are into it.
Yes, exactly.
You know, like that people don't just like quit halfway through the season. For me, like I'm playing free leagues. Like I just bought a house recently. I don't have. I'm cash poor. You know, like I'm very fine not having a big buy-in. If I know everyone's as into it, like if I know the league is filled with like people like me and Kevin and like Jakey and stuff, like where there's like I wouldn't need the money aspect of it at all. I just I like the competition and like everyone being engaged. So that's the one I would choose. But again, free money's great.
Yeah, but see like in an ideal scenario, like what you talked about in your league, like he was saying like how like half the league was like inactive near the end of the season, so like he won the league, but it kind of felt like it wasn't much of a battle. I think like keep the money aspect obviously, but then just try to fill the league with people that are actually going to care. And that might be difficult. Maybe you only got 9 people because that's the only people you had to play with. But like join the Discord, and there's always people in there that are looking to play. Just obviously you got to be careful of where you're putting your money and everything like that. But I feel like if
Yeah.
you're part of the Banger
And
Management
join the Banger
community,
Management League.
yeah, you're gonna have a community to play with, and I think that's the biggest part of the fun. I think.
Yeah. And it's gonna be really cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the relegation system thing, like it's gonna
Yeah.
be really, really cool and fun, and I'm excited for it. We'll obviously be brainstorming it in the off season,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be really cool. All right, let's go to the next one. Show Me Pajot on Discord asked if you could remove one player from the league at the start of the year for the whole season, who would it be, and why is it Matthew Olivier?
Oh boy! I mean, listen, you took the answer right out of my mouth, but I don't like. I wanted to root for Olivier because I wanted to root for Columbus, but then every time I play against him, it was just awful. So
You're telling me I was
Yeah.
right there with you. On the,
I know. I can't believe
it was
it.
crazy. It was nuts. I've never seen something like that happen just so consistently.
The best part was when,
by the
when
second
people were
round,
picking him up in the Discord because
Yeah,
he was playing
exactly.
against us.
Exactly. Like the second time around, people were like, "Okay, this actually is a thing," and then it worked out again. And I'm like, "This is wild."
Yeah.
Who would I take out? I mean,
Mm,
Anthony Cirelli, I guess.
Yeah.
he's
No, but it
he's
could
my
be-
new.
It can be for various
don't know.
reasons.
That's fair. I don't know. Every goalie.
Yeah.
Darcy Kemper.
Who would I take out?
Well, what are the various reasons? There's people you don't want to play against. There's people you don't want on your
People
team.
I think are too strong.
People you think are too strong. Take out McDavid.
Yeah, even at the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I think Matthew Olivier for me. I think is the correct answer.
Yeah. For me,
Or
it's
Ilya
just,
Sorokin after he almost ended my season, but getting like shutouts every week.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just anyone I have a grudge against. But right now, the number one guy is Cirelli until next season when I forget about him. But for now, he's the one who ended my season single-handedly. So that's
8
that's
points in 2 games. That'll
Crazy.
do it.
Yeah, that will do it. All right, Wiley Coyote on Discord asked, "Who was your best waiver wire pickup of the year?" There's a couple questions. So let's start with that one. Who's your best waiver wire pickup of the year?
Let me look at my team. Waiver
let me
wire
look at mine
pickup
as
of
well.
the team of the year. I mean, to me, I think it's between Connor Brown, who basically was stellar for me in the playoffs, or Jet Greaves is my best pickup of the season, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
He basically solidified my goalie position when I went 0G and had the result 0 healthy goalies. And then it led to me also just like literally only holding Jet Greaves in the playoffs, and he was hitting my minimum starts alone, 3 minimum starts, which was huge.
I've got to go with probably my best pickup of the year was Brock Faber, who I used to flip for, like, to bundle Svetch for Robertson.
He was on your team for like a week or something.
Yeah, I know. And he had an insane week. He was power play 1 for a hot sec, and then I flipped him. So that was probably the best pickup in terms of how it worked out. I think the best pickup in terms of like longevity on my team and someone who's still on my team was probably Brant Clark.
Yeah, Brant Clark.
With getting power play
after
1.
I dropped him like the week prior.
Yeah, exactly. I was so excited. Alex Lyon was actually a great pickup for me because I got eliminated before he started sucking. So it's so it worked out pretty nicely. And then my last one would be probably Trouba was solid.
Yeah, Trouba was solid. For me, Samuelson was really good too for a long time.
Samuelson,
like he was,
for the bangers.
He literally broke out, and I got him right before that, so that was fun.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, and my biggest regret is not picking up Darren Raddysh because I had too many defensemen that week, and he was only he would have only fit in my schedule for 1 game. So I was like, I don't need to get that. And then
Same.
I was literally going to pick him up, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's everyone's story. Okay, next one. Who did you hold on to for too long?
Am I gonna say Zach Benson again because I held him for like a month when he was supposed to be day to day, and I already had 5 injuries.
I mean, my answer is definitely both Joey Decourt and Darcy Kemper.
I was gonna say
I drafted both of them, and I both were droppable and ruined my season.
Who
so
did I hold?
Definitely those two. That's still on your team, or
no?
just
I mean, that I just ended up cutting like way later that I should have cut earlier.
Oh, you held on to Ben Kindle for like that,
no, he was fine
or something. No, he was pretty bad, and you were like, but he might be something, and then you dropped him like 2 weeks later.
Was that?
Remember,
Kindle?
It was a whole thing. Like it cost you like a matchup, and you were like, I'm thinking for the future or whatever.
Really?
Like,
I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
it was like similar to the Benson thing. Okay, who was your best draft pick?
I mean, if I'm looking at my draft, I got Erik Karlsson in the 16th round. I feel like that's gotta be my best pick. Either Erik Karlsson in the 16th or Rickard Rakell in the 11th, or Dylan
really
Cousins in the 8th. Dylan Cousins is ranked 27 in our league of record.
Those are all really good. I think mine has to be either Gostisbehere in the 19th,
Yeah,
or Geeky in the 13th.
I think Geeky.
Horvat in the 9th.
Geeky, with how hot he was for so long, I think you were getting like second round value out of Geeky for like over half of the season.
Yeah, that was a good pick. That was based on what we said in the offseason.
Yep.
You know? We were all very high on him. And who was your worst draft pick? I could tell you who my worst draft pick it was.
Wait, no, you tell me who my worst draft pick was, and I'll tell you who your worst draft pick was.
Okay. Okay, let me go to your team and see. I mean, no, your worst draft pick was Will Cooley in the 6th round.
But it ended up being like solid for a long time. He was giving me what I got.
He was worth rostering. He was nowhere near a 6th round value.
Yeah. Who was going around him, it's true.
That's it. Like, yeah, exactly.
For you, it's definitely Darcy Kemper in the 8th.
He did the most damage to my team, but he was not my worst draft pick, unfortunately.
Who's your worst draft pick? Was it JT Miller?
JT Miller in the first round.
I didn't even look at your first round pick. I just assumed you had McDavid.
Literally killed my entire season.
No, he didn't. He killed your entire like 2 weeks until you traded him away.
Well, I had to package him away with Tage Thompson, who was unreal.
Oh, you got Connor McDavid.
Okay, fair. Dougie Hamilton in the 7th was brutal.
Yeah, that's true.
Svech in the 6th was brutal until he turned it around and I flipped him and for Robertson. So it worked great. So I won't count that. But yeah, those ones are pretty rough. Not my best draft. I think that's why, like,
I was gonna
if
say,
you look at all the moves I made, like, I actually made some unreal trades, but my draft was so poor that my worst draft pick was Evander Kane in the 11th round. That was my worst draft pick.
It's true.
No, there was a lot. It wasn't a great draft, especially for how much I prepared this year, like more than I usually do.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to prepare less next year. I don't know.
Maybe you gotta take some Kevin pointers. I feel like I always have a solid draft and I ruin it somehow.
For me, like, I feel like I like, at least the last couple of years when I haven't won, I like come out of the draft and I'm like, what have I done? You know, and then I spend the whole season like building my team back up with like great trades and like pickups, but it like hasn't been enough, obviously.
I feel like you had a better draft than Jakey.
Really? I feel like my draft's kind of brutal. What did Jakey? I know Jakey's worst pick was Cam Fowler in the 10th round. No, Jakey's draft was sick.
Yeah, I guess
like his top 9 are
his
very
top
sick.
8 was good for him, and then everything else was just dog water.
That's fair, but like that's the most important.
But he didn't have any misses in his top 8. I think you had a couple misses in your top 8, so then that really hindered
so I
you.
like made up for it with some late round value, but the top ones are the most important to get right, especially your top 1. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Blister Boy on Discord asked, what's Raddysh's value going into next season if he stays with Tampa? Will he keep power play 1? All right, finally, we can talk about Darren Raddysh more than we already have.
I mean, honestly, like if he stays in Tampa, it's going to be a big conversation because I feel like Hedman has enough pull that what Hedman wants, Hedman gets. But the thing is, like, within reason. So I think Raddysh, with what he did this year on the power play, like, how can you not just like let this guy fly? Or
there's no way. There's no way. If he also, like, we're gonna get our answer when we see what the contract is, because if he stays with Tampa and they pay him like, you know, a decent amount, which he should get, that they're not gonna pay him that to not put him in that position again. Like if he was like before this season, who the heck was he, right? Yeah. They're not gonna put him back in a position to be.
I don't think so.
I think that he would want to.
Yeah,
but I think he's also gonna like this is his chance to get a payday, right? Like he's getting
generational wealth with this contract. Like that's it.
And he was like a nobody before this, right? Like no one had really heard of him. Like, and he's having like the by far most insane season he's ever going to have. So he needs to, get the bag essentially. And so I think he's gonna wait until free agency, and whoever gives him the best offer he goes to. Yeah. I think Tampa is gonna try and keep him. I think
I don't think they give him the best offer.
But I don't think they give him the best offer because free agency, you're fighting against 31 other teams.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to stay with Tampa because I think he'll take the money, as he should.
Yeah.
If he does stay with Tampa for less money, I think that's a mistake. But, I'm thinking like business side or whatever. Yeah. But I think in terms of his career, I think the best place for him is Tampa. Mm-hmm. But in terms of his life, I think he should take the most money.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he stays on Tampa, I mean, so you said this earlier, right? If he stays on Tampa, I'm very interested. If he goes anywhere else, I'm not interested. And maybe not.
Is he top 5? No, is he like top? He's gonna be top 10 for
top
sure.
10 if he's on Tampa.
Probably 7 or 8.
Yeah, I put him around there.
That's crazy. Like for a guy that was undrafted this year, came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But that's why,
if he's on Tampa, he will keep power play 1. There's no doubt in my mind that they're re-signing him.
there's a little bit of a chance that like they could give it back to Hedman or something.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, look, it's not one of those situations like
I'm
some
not betting
teams
my
where there's
house
no
on it. No
chance.
gun to my head here.
Yeah, it's not like Makar or Bouchard or something
Yeah.
or Werenski where they have literally no competition. But I would like if in my mind it's 99% Raddysh and 1% Hedman.
Yeah.
Like I really don't see unless it comes out that Hedman like was dealing with something crazy
Yeah.
this whole season. I mean, he did just take a personal leave, right? Like unless it turns out like there was a big reason why he wasn't power play one, and that reason is very clearly resolved going into next year. I have no reason to believe that a Darren Raddysh re-signed on Tampa would not be power play one. So I would treat him as such. All right, Blister Boy on Discord also asked, what is Cole Hutson's value next season? Will he take power play one from Chychrun?
This is way
I
more
mean, he's
ambiguous.
been pretty. This is way more ambiguous. He's been really solid. I feel like since joining the league like a week or two ago, and I don't know. I mean, Chychrun was so good, right? Like this year and last year, and then Cole Hutson kind of came out of nowhere, and well, not out of nowhere. Like people knew he was going to come. Carlson gets shipped off, so you're like, okay, does this mean it just solidifies Chychrun even harder? But it's like, no, now maybe Cole Hutson gets it. I don't know. I could see this possibly being a situation like when Lane Hutson joined the Habs, where Matheson was power play one for the first half of the year, and then they gave it to Lane Hutson for the second half. Are you like, who are you? Are you avoiding both? Are you drafting either? What's your kind of outlook for draft next year in terms of Hutson versus Chychrun?
I still like Chychrun more. I think Chychrun's going to be the power play one guy. I just feel like he's cemented himself as like a really good NHL defenseman, and he has the pedigree, and he's like a pretty good power play quarterback as well for Washington. So I feel like it would really need to be a lot of things going wrong for them to put Hutson there, or Hutson just needs to be exceptional. It's not like Blaine Hutson, overtaking Mike Matheson. Like it's Chychrun's like a really good defenseman. That like we see it before, like Owen Power comes in, does not overtake Rasmus Dahlin because Dahlin's already pretty sick, right? So I think it really just depends. But I think it's a year too early for Hutson, unless like they're really punting and next year they're like rebuilding. Ovi doesn't come back and blah blah. And they really want to get the young guys going. Then I can maybe see it. But even then, I feel like both would be there.
I think there'll be a lot more clarity in the offseason with moves they make, Ovi possibly retiring or not. And obviously, like closer to the season, we start seeing some of the practice lines and stuff like that. But I will say that I'm not willing to take Chychrun, assuming he's power play one all year. I'm willing to take him as like if I would draft him as long as you have in mind the fact that he could lose it. I still think he's 90% to have it all year. Like I agree with you that I think it's still very early and there's no real reason unless they're punting. Like everything you said, I agree with. But I just don't like to be blindsided. Like I was kind of like it was dumb. That's it. Like and it was dumb. I should have seen it coming. But I just thought like with how bad Luke Hughes was on the power play last year and then how good Dougie was before, I thought like he's the guy. And then I was kind of blindsided. Same with Sider losing it for like a week to Axel Sandin Pellikka. Like, look, maybe I just didn't do my research well enough or whatever. But I got kind of blindsided with those. I just want to go in with the information. If I know a guy's power play one but has the chance to lose it, I'll draft him as such. But if I'm drafting a guy as a clear power play one, I don't want him to be at risk of losing it. So that's kind of how I look at it. All right. Blister Boy on Discord also asked, where would you draft Kucherov next year? Can you list your top 10 draft picks?
I mean,
all right.
Let's say we're taking banger management leagues for next year.
Our league settings, which means face-off wins included, because that's the big thing with Kuch and Draisaitl.
I think Kuch 1 and 2 is at worst 5. Kuch is at worst 4 in my opinion.
4, yeah.
And there's an argument to take him at 2 or 3. Even 1.
I don't think you could take him over McDavid or McKinnon.
But see, we had this conversation. Like, what if Kuch has like a 4-4-4 next year, and these other guys are gonna have a 3-3-3?
Yes, that's true. We were talking about this, and a lot of it comes down to playoff schedule. At the end of the day, I mean, that's the main reason we were pushing McKinnon over McDavid this year at number 1, right? Was the playoff schedule.
Yeah.
So okay, assuming they all have the same playoff schedule, because we don't know yet going into the season, I think you have to go McDavid and McKinnon 1 and 2. And then with the face-off wins, I still think Draisaitl is more valuable than Kucherov. And that's fully aware that like Kuch could end with like 0.2 points more than Draisaitl per game.
But the left-wing face-offs is just so much value.
I think it's just so much value. And he's like elite at it, right? He gets like 12, like 13 face-off wins. So I would go McDavid, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Kucherov. And then if we're rounding out the top 10 at 5.
At 5, it's going to be probably Pasta.
Okay.
Pasta or Brady?
Pasta. That's what,
but see, I went Brady ahead of Pasta this season, and then looking back, like I probably would have had a better shot going Pasta. But Brady also like did exactly what I expected, because to me I was just like,
Yeah.
if Brady gets a point per game, like I think he should be like way more valuable.
For sure.
And he did do that. Like this season he's at
Yeah.
0.95. He still has the PIMs, although less, at 1.12 instead of 1.7. And the power play was insane. It's just the hits ticked down a little bit and the shots ticked down a little bit, like 0.3 and 0.5. But he's still elite at both, right?
No, he's still a beast. I think I would take, I'd probably go Pasta, then Brady. So that's 5 and 6. And at 7, do we go?
It's
I'm
Kaprizov.
picturing like Kaprizov, Makar, Celebrini, those type of guys.
I think that's the list.
Is that the order you would do it? Kaprizov, Makar, Celebrini?
Kaprizov, maybe Kaprizov, Celebrini, Makar, Kaprizov, Makar, Celebrini.
Celebrini over Makar.
Is that 8?
Yeah. So that's 7, 8, 9.
9.
Just listed.
And then
so now we're on. So who's our 10th one?
10 is it Rantanen,
Matthews, Bedard.
Rantanen, Matthews is like I think Matthews is probably gonna be the common pick here for a lot of people. People hate Matthews, but then he delivers most of the time. This year was a really bad year.
I think I'm staying away from him. No, but 10th pick is around where like you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because the fact is his ceiling is so high. I do think the Leafs obviously are kind of sucking the next couple of years, and I'm just worried about his injury issues. It just feels, even though this injury, that ended his season, is not completely different from what he's been dealing with in the past.
Yeah.
He's still like, I don't know. It just feels like he's squishy. So I don't know. Yeah, and then you've got like Rantanen. I think
Rantanen for me.
I think Rantanen is who I would go with. I think he proved to us, not necessarily
or
wrong,
Eichel,
but I think, oh yeah, Eichel too. Actually, I think I take Eichel over Rantanen
because the face-off wins too.
I also like the shots a lot. I don't necessarily believe the PIMS is real from Rantanen.
Yeah.
Even though he did it for a full season, I wouldn't count on that as part of his game, and I think that's a big thing that's boosting his ranking in our league. I like Eichel there. Like I'd go like just to round off a couple more. I'd go Eichel, Rantanen, probably Matthews then.
Jack Hughes.
And then I would do I was gonna say Jack. Would you take Bedard over Hughes?
I think I take Hughes over Bedard.
Yeah, so I'd probably go Hughes, Bedard, and then where's Quinn Hughes in all this? Does he go after that? Something like that.
Yeah, probably. Quinn Hughes is probably like a top 15 pick.
Yeah, keep in mind someone's gonna draft some goal.
Yeah,
like
Vasilevsky or Hellebuck again.
No, I don't think anyone's drafting Hellebuck round 1 next year. I'd be surprised if even round 2. Honestly, I think he goes round 3. I think someone's gonna bet on the bounce back. Yeah, someone's gonna bet on the bounce back and grab him round 3.
Won't be me.
Go later than that. No, not me either. I'd rather have a lot more goalies than him, and I'm also not drafting any.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go to the next one. Armdog on Discord asked, would you keep Necas or Matthew Tkachuk in a keep forever league? I thought that was a really good question.
Yeah. In a keep forever, I feel like give me Matthew Tkachuk. In a keep forever.
With our league settings, I'm going Tkachuk as well. I think Tkachuk has I
love Necas.
Necas probably has more points upside than Tkachuk at this point, but I think it's close enough. And power play wise, Tkachuk has the edge. PIMS, Tkachuk has the edge. Shots, Tkachuk has the edge. Hits, he has the edge. And obviously,
even power play,
you're thinking long term. Yeah, power play exactly. But I feel like they're in similar places in their career. So I'd go Tkachuk.
But Tkachuk also has the talismanicness of him, whereas Necas always feels like a Robin to somebody's Batman.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Robins don't survive as much on their own. Where Tkachuk is
long term. Yeah.
Tkachuk, with all his injuries this year, he still did amazing when he was on the ice, right? Even in the playoffs, we saw people were debating Florida assets. Everybody's punting. What do we do? He was still really good.
He was still putting up numbers,
and that's without Barkov, without Reinhart, without the whole team being healthy. So
yeah, I wonder if some Panthers guys are going to drop in the draft next year lower than they should.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
I want my daddy back on my team.
I was gonna say, I'll see what you get Barkov next year. That's going to be really interesting. Actually, I'm very curious what his ADP is going to be. All right, last question. Rich6 on Discord asked, what would Josh do differently next year to be on the same level as Kevin and Jake?
Ooh, that's a great question. He's got to listen to more banger management, clearly.
All right. You know what? Let me get my everyone get your tinfoil hats on, because here's my conspiracy theory, okay? Before we started this podcast, I had never lost a year of fantasy hockey in my life. We've been doing the podcast for 2 years now, and I've lost both years, okay? And here's my theory. Firstly, so just to give some background, it was Kevin and Jake who came to me and were like, we should do this podcast, Like they were like, we think, we're great, we can do it, whatever. And my first thought was, okay, they want me in this. Like my first conspiracy, exactly. Get your tinfoil hat. My first thought was they want me in this because every year I threaten to quit fantasy forever, even when I win, not just when I lose. I'm always like, it's too much, I'm too stressed, blah blah blah. So every year I threaten to quit. I was like, they're gonna do this to keep me from quitting fantasy because I'm gonna love the podcast too much. And it worked. I love the podcast too much. I love the Bang Gang too much. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still sticking to my 1 league per year. I'm not looking to increase my leagues, but I'm sticking to 1 league per year.
For now.
And yeah, and my threats to quit are kind of just laughed at this point because they know I like the podcast too much. So that's my first part of the theory, and that one is just straight up true, and it worked. My second part of the theory, is that they did it so that they can get all my secrets because I like to, obviously we're on the pod, I'm not going to keep my secrets. I'm going to tell it to all our fantastic listeners, and that's why they've been using it against me. Look, I'll just say I've been, I was the biggest 0G guy right off the bat, and then now Kevin and Jakey both did it, and they made it to the finals. And then I tried not to do it because I thought, oh, they're going to do it, so I'm going to mind game it, and second...
nobody forced you to not go 0G.
No, I know, but anyways.
Also, 0G was not a Josh Patterson strategy.
No, it wasn't. But then that combined with me punting face-off wins was I was the first to do that in our league, to just completely like get rid of it, and I feel like you both did that this year as well. Anyways,
Jakey.
It's all.
Jakey was
it's
actually
all,
a really good face-off wins team to start, and then he just traded all his guys away.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my tinfoil hat theory is that they actually learned from the best, and Anyways, what would I do differently is keep more secrets, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not get Draisaitl injured the day before. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, thank you so much for that great question.
Listen, as the current League of Record winner and reigning champion, I can say that I think you just need to listen to the podcast more and take more advice from Jakey, I think. Because
sounds good. As the 3-time champ and the winningest person in the history of our League of Record, who has only been in the league for 5 years, I will say that I will take those notes and try and do better next year.
I think Jakey's gonna be thrilled. Honestly, I wonder how it's gonna be, because Josh is leaving our League of Record to make a new League of Record with the banker management community next season. Which obviously me and Jakey will be in, and hopefully we might get some other hockey content creators in the league with us on the top league, the main League of Record league, I will say, with some of the listeners as well. That people are always fighting to get into with promotion and relegation and all that. But then our current League of Record will just be me and Jakey left remaining. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think the competition level is going to get way worse because obviously Josh was a big part of it. I feel like the whole season is just me and Josh kind of battling it out until until the playoffs.
It does feel like it sometimes.
And then Jakey's just along for the ride, and then he ends up making the finals, just losing to whoever makes it there. But maybe now the karma has changed, and Jakey can finally have the League of Record win, or maybe he'll recruit somebody else that's going to beat him. Who knows?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he recruited both of us, and we both beat him in the finals. So definitely hope that me leaving could help his odds.
It doesn't make them better. It doesn't make them worse. Sorry. So there you go.
Yeah, for sure.
But on that note, this was the last episode of the 2025-2026 fantasy hockey season for the reigning the current season. This is hopefully you guys are listening to this as you're about to win your championships. That would be amazing. If you do, please let us know in the Discord. We're gonna take, I would say, maybe a 2-week break from this moment of as soon as this episode airs, maybe 10 to 14 days until our next episode comes out. So if you've made it this far, you've been listening all season, we really appreciate it. Time for a small mini break for us to mentally reset and back to the action right after, covering the actual NHL playoffs. Drop us a follow on Spotify, Apple. If you've rocked with us and you want to rock with us in the off season, now's the time. Drop us a follow so you're notified when the new episodes come live. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, comment, tell us why you won your league and how you won it. And obviously join the Discord community, because that's where we're going to be talking about all the banger management community leagues and everything like that. We're going to be talking about it in the Discord. So that's the place to be if you want to be in on the action next season. I think it's going to be I know there's some other hockey leagues out there with other podcasts and stuff, and a lot of those are great, but ours is going to be the best. I think
Yeah.
you got two minds here plus Jakey working on it, and we're gonna come up with the
It's
best
gonna be
system. It's gonna
awesome.
be so much fun.
It's going to be really awesome. And yeah, so if you're not in the Discord yet, unfortunately, that is going to be the main way to find out about all this and you know, like, get into it.
Yeah.
So
We'll still post
really
about
want
it on the
everyone to join.
episodes, but like the Discord is where
Yeah. But that's where, like, the, you know, the
money
the
happens.
sausage gets
or whatever.
made.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
where the sheep get sheared, you know.
Exactly. All right. Wow. End of the season. It's bittersweet.
Yeah, what a ride it was. And on that note, ending the ride in true Harry Potter fashion, triple decker bus. Take it away, Ernie.
Ba-ba-da-bow-bow. Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo for Jakey. Ghostly woo.
Here in spirit.